afternoon. Very good conversation happened. The first two conversations, which started with Joltan and then followed by Dawn on transformation. Both talked about transformation, the stories of success, stories of not so successful. Few words which resonated with me. Lovable. Banking could be lovable. That's a beautiful word where you talk a dry subject called banking and make it lovable. Second word is trust. For doing this, we need capability and knowledge. So knowledge is a fourth word which I would say. Don spoke about culture. Core word for him I picked up is strategy and culture. More than strategy, he emphasized on culture more than a strategy. Purpose-based, future agnostic is the word which you put it. Asking questions. Taking risk is no risk. No risk of taking a decision. Biggest risk is taking no decisions. And this is a key word I would like to emphasize today on transformation certainty. We are sitting on a time bomb of core banking of 45-year-old COBOL systems. I'm talking to many CIOs last 2 days, and before that, one of the CIOs, I talked to him, he said, I'm moving from X COBOL to MF COBOL. In year of 2025, the institution is making a decision call to move from one type of COBOL to second type of COBOL. And that is the UK. Supposed to be a progressive technology country of the world is making such kind of a calls. How are they scared for taking a decision which is a time bomb anyway? And everybody knows it's a time bomb. My cost of serving using old core banking systems of 45-year, 50-year, 60-year systems is 3 times the cost of new systems. That's why the new banks who are coming with the pure digital banks are more profitable than the old digital banks. As simple as that. It's not a rocket science to understand. And when we talk about strategy, Don, why can't we understand this? The cost of serving, maintaining old buildings, legacy buildings, heritage buildings is 3 times more expensive than the maintaining your new building. You will not have a maintenance cost for next 10 years when you buy a new apartment. And this is where the conversation, I want to look at it, a dialogue, I'm looking at it. Over the last, I started my journey in 83, and then 86 is the first nucleus as a banking company. I'm fortunate to work or unfortunate to not to work with anyone. So I have an entrepreneurship journey. So I could mix whatever decision I made is my own decision. So in 42 years of my journey of bank tech, I've gone through the 5 generations of technologies which have passed through me. When I started the journey, PC was just first time came in. It was as expensive of $3,000 PC in 1984. Today, even on an inflation basis, everything has changed. And that dialogue pivot is coming from design. This 5 generation of technologies, why those technologies are not, so technology by itself cannot change. Technology is a way how you use it, as Jolton was saying or Don was saying. No technology is good, no technology is bad. It's how you use it that makes it the success or the failure of transformation certainty. And this is about intersection of transdiscipline between people, processes, and technology coming together. I'll just play a small movie. This is a 1-minute video. Just observe it carefully, and I want to. Just you observed it carefully. I would encourage you to write 3 words which comes to your mind after watching this movie. Just 3 words. Yeah, just write it down in your diary and share it with each other. Just 30 seconds, just whatever 3 words comes to your mind is good enough. Yeah. Just write it down for synchronize, precision, whatever. Once you completed 3 words, share with each other on the table. How many words I want to see, how many words are unique, and how many words are common. Okay, which table wants to go? Like this table, how many words are common across a group? Let's say 15 words are there. So out of 15, how many are common? It was a Honda ad. Yeah, it was a Honda ad of 2004. Yeah. Yeah. How many common words for you? 3 common and? 2 common.
Precision and creativity.
Precision and capability are the 2 words. Creativity, okay. There are 2 words common, and how many uncommon words, non-common words? 9? So 9 words are unique and 2 are common across 5 people.
We have 9 words
all different. Wow, this is a unique table. 9 words all independent. So that's a creative table. How many are common?
Coordinated. Cool. Unlikely.
Two words are common. Only 1 word common? What is it?
Precision.
Precision is common. And how many? So out of that 37 are unique, uncommon. Now this point I'm trying to make is, with this exercise, the 2 points I want to make. First is, we look at the same 60-second movie and come out with different interpretation. Each one of us has a lens through which we see the world. And even the picture is same. So the lens which you use and the pivot we use. So if you look at it, there are 2 things in my human mind. There is a pivot through which a lens moves. And what lens you use to understand the technology or understand the process, understand the banking, is about pivot, where your pivot is. Now, pivot of banking industry over the last 50 years is product first. That was the pivot of banking industry. While CEO says customer first, my technology says product first. Because I want to buy one core banking product, I want to buy one lending product, I want to buy one wealth management product, I want to buy one credit card product, and I want to buy one payment product. Now these 5 products which I am buying, resulting into 5 tech stacks, Each will come with each technology stack, and each one will come with a data stack. Each one will have its own data stack. So now I have 10 stacks. When I'm managing this 10 tech stacks, or 5 tech stack and 5 data stack is a minimum requirement. For a large European bank, there'll be at least this number will go to 20 tech stacks or 50 tech stacks and 50 data stacks. This means I have to deal with, because each generation I have a tech stack of technology. And when I'm talking about even 5 tech stack, it's a multiplier. Complexity is a multiplier impact, not like addition impact. How the data interact to each other, how the technology interact with each other, how they talk to each other, how they understand each other. That's the fundamental. While what we want to design customer-first technology, not a product-first technology. So when Jolton was designing the map, he's designing customer-first technologies that is different from a product-first box which he's putting it together. That's his visualization of what constitute customer-first and what constitute product-first, process-first. Second pivot I want to highlight is, we talk about the products and products and products and products. In last 40 years, when I meet bankers, talk to bankers, each thing is about this product to be launched, next product to be launched, next product to be launched. And we as a technology service provider, we are happy because they ask for the product, we supply the product, and we make more money on it, frankly speaking. So that's not no negative. But if I'm looking at from an industrial lens perspective, the cost to income ratio, which everybody talks about it, every CIO and CEO talks about, I need to reduce cost to income ratio. He talks 2 words only, customer first, cost to income ratio. That's all. And third is the risk. So 3 levers are there for every CEO meeting. I loaded all the CEO messages in my Purple Fabric agent. I said, what are the common threats are coming? There are only 3 threats. Customer first, cost to income, and risk management. Where is the operation first? When there is a customer first, where is the operation first? If there are 5 tech stacks, if you're talking about customer first, then I need to talk about operation first. Once I have an operation first strategy, then only I can connect to the multiple systems. Cost to income ratio, major cost of the bank is in two buckets, in technology bucket or ops bucket. Besides the risk bucket is another thing, or governance bucket, but these are 2 major buckets on which. So I need to look at it for reduction the cost income ratio. I need to understand what are the levers for me to drive the cost down, and that can be done using a current set. Then we need to, when we delving into it, I'll come to the how part of it. Today I'm starting with the why part of it. Now why part of it, if I'm looking at it, the business operation and technology, how they look at it, I remember of this picture. There are 3 faces of Rembrandt. All the 3 faces of this painting is seeing outside. They're not seeing to each other. Their eyes are not focused to each other. That's where we have 3 different lenses, but they're not aligned. And a lot of failure of transformation is about this non-alignment of 3 different lenses. It's not about the people. Those lenses can be worn by anybody, but it's about the role they are playing. That leads to the complexity. When the transformation is happening, you have a crisscross happening. Sometimes it succeeds, sometimes it doesn't succeed. Complexity is very, very natural in a banking system. The movie you've seen, of 60-second movie, so many pieces are to be connected. To really make a customer-first design, you need Even in 60 seconds, we connected close to 55 pieces in this movie. Now, we need to connect all the dots. And that's the complexity. If there are 5 tech stacks and it has to be customer track, 55 into 5 into 5, your moving parts will be close to 2,000, 3,000 moving parts. No way any executive, humanly impossible to connect those dots unless I simplify using asking why, then go to what, then go to how, then go to when, then go to whom. These are the sequences of questions need to be asked. And this complexity comes, as I explained. There are legacy issues, there are multi-generational technology, there are systemic issues of the industry, the rules should be defined at an enterprise level. Today we define the rule at a product level. The rule should be inherited because you have product-based rule engine, not a enterprise-based rule engine. You have a customer data set, I mentioned about it. If you have 25 data sets, obviously you have a serious issue. We said, okay, there's every time we say new technology has come and it's a panacea for the previous technology. When the client server came in, we thought, now I have a web logic, I have a web sphere, I can solve all this problem. Now we have APIs and we say, oh, API will solve every problem. So I'm moving from one forest to the second forest and then try to see whether the wild animals are there in that or not. The wild animal point Jolton mentioned about the security, about the resilience, those are the wild animals can come from any side. All these projects runs on a various frequencies. They are not aligned. The frequency is not aligned, which delivers higher operational cost. So this is the cost to income ratio issue. This is a typical architectural design. I'm taken out the name of the bank, but I have seen such designs in my life at least 20 times. So when I go to some bankers, most of the banks don't have an architecture, but some of them have an architecture. This looks as complex as this. And they celebrate it. Oh, we have a most complex architecture and we are managing it. So it's a big power. No? It shows you the power that I'm managing the most complex system in the world. To me, a customer, first, if I apply design thinking, what is the desirability of the customer? I need only 5 things in my life as a customer of a bank. I need deposit, safe deposit. I need lending when I need. I need to invest. I need a credit card for my shopping. And I need a payment, investment, if I have surplus money. Only 5 things are required. It's a simple, for a customer side, it's a simple banking. Why for bank side, it's a difficult banking. For SME, he also needs only 5 things. If he does need only 5 things, what makes the complexity there? And what is the fear? Now this could be banking view, that industry segment. They have to design the banking around various industry segment, various SME segment, and they need to cater to the various industry segment. They need to understand if I want to make customer first, then for customer first for manufacturing, customer first for transportation, customer first for hospitality or food and beverage. There will be some differences of the process life cycles which will be different. I am looking for transformation from a sustainable business outcome perspective. I propose 3 things at a thinking level first. Then we can come to doing level, and then come to the knowledge level, and then doing level. Design thinking, framework thinking, and first principle thinking. When I started the journey with Nucleus, Citibank was my first client in '86. For 7 years, it was only single client we served because we didn't have a capacity to serve second client, and we grew together. Citibank grew together as the #1 leader in India. We grew as a Nucleus as a company. And a lot of people used to ask, are you not putting all the eggs in one basket? you're an entrepreneur, you must take a responsibility of saying if Citibank tomorrow says no. The point was it's technology relationships are so mutual that's never one-sided. Dependencies are mutual. Neither customer tell you can go out, nor you can go out both ways. But we need to understand that you don't do what you can't deliver. And then we started growing and we started setting company Polaris after that, which was a service company, and we grew to 14,000 employees and we are serving almost 200 customers across the globe. One point I thought in 2002 that I need a IP back from Citi, but I developed the IP for Citi in last 86 to 2002 in 16 years. Can I buy back? I asked Citi, can I buy back? There are some investment bankers in Citi who given me because they got investment banking money. So I paid $200 million and got the IPs back along with the COSL, their own subsidiary. So that was a beautiful deal for me to get IPs from a Citibank reputed IPs I can get as a starting point for my journey. For first 10 years, we relook at the IP from a different lens. We look at service-oriented architecture in 2012 till 2002 to 2012. We could build up some of the referenceable client, build up some decent business up to $100 million in selling their products. Now, that was the time when I looked at it that we need to make a difference to the impact to the business community. What failures I've observed, how do I contribute back to the industry back? And that is the time when our board took a decision to demerge the company into two, Polaris Software, and second, new company got formed, Intellect. So just a pure vertical demerger of two companies. One company had 9,000 employees, second company has 4,000 employees. 4,000 company is a loss-making company. 9,000 employee company is a profitable company. In 2015, 2016, I sold off Polaris. Initially, I thought I can run both the company with two CEOs, one service company and one product company, because both are listed companies, so we can run with two CEOs. But I found my personal time is getting consumed in service company because that's more bigger business. That is a 3/4 of the business, and this is a 1/4 of the business. Natural attraction is to support 3/4 business to grow faster than 1/4 business. So if I don't let go, I'll always be. So I have chosen myself to be vulnerable at that time because human mind thinks 10 times faster when you're vulnerable than you are in comfort zone. We set up a research team of 1,200 research engineers. That in the beginning itself, I set up a research team of 1,000 people, around 700 people in domain side, 300 people in technology side. Largest investment on research team because in Polaris, when we are running the two businesses together, we are not getting clarity of investments. In last 10 years of our journey from 2015 to now, we would have invested 20 million hours of the research time. If you translate into $100 an hour from a European perspective, it's a $2 billion. If you take it at a value of $50, it's $1 billion research investments. But it's not about the money which is important. In 2011, when I said how to change the culture of the company, that was the most important piece. Our Indian culture had become service culture. Service culture means whatever customer says, I should deliver. So it's an order-taking culture. When you're a technology company, you need a agenda-setting culture. You need to invest 3 years ahead of pattern and trend to find what the industry is looking at. I studied in 2007 that when I was traveling to Silicon Valley, what is the difference between two cultures? They are part of the same country. Both sit in US. How New York is different from Silicon Valley. I asked few professors, few industry people, not a firm answer. They said, oh, they are smarter, they are. So that was a kind of a surface level answer. I went to the history and I found Harvard started MBA program in 1908, which was from East Coast. And the purpose of MBA program was two objectives: maximize the resource and optimize the resource. And that program has helped the world for industrialization to maximize and optimizing the resources. Now, when Silicon Valley was there, they didn't have any resources. The resources for Silicon Valley is sand, desert. Now, if you have to build livelihood and sustainable business, then you need to think about possibilities and opportunities. And that's the birth of design thinking in 1992 at Silicon Valley. At Stanford, they started design thinking as a program which pivot around opportunities and possibilities, while East Coast is pivot around maximize and optimize. Today, when digital banks are seen, digital banks are looking opportunities and possibilities, while traditional banks are looking maximizing and optimizing the existing engines. You can get maximum power could be 3-4%, what your Jolton presentation shows 4.1% and 8.1%. That is a difference between what you're looking from a design thinking perspective. Then I started looking at to train the people on design thinking. I succeeded 10%, but it was not becoming a part of the culture. It was becoming a lip service. I attended the program, certification level 5, and 200 people trained, 1,000 people trained, everybody's tick mark, but in outcome, it was not visible. Till 2011, I took an account that how many meetings are really design thinking meeting, or real meeting happens, or it's just a lip service happen. Because when CEO says something, everybody aligns to the word and they start using that word. We have to take it back, that to change the culture, you need a place, a temple when you change the culture. The culture forms from some temples. Oxford is a temple of learning. We need to set up a design center, design thinking center, 30,000 square feet of design thinking center we designed at Chennai. It took 12 months to design the center, 4 designs for failed. We designed the center, and then 9 months to execute it. So by March 2013, I could able to set up a place which could be inspirational in nature. In the morning, Ted spoke about it. Oxford is a place of inspiration. A lot of learning process happen when the inspiration happen, not the directive happen. Directives cannot give you new direction. Inspiration gives you new direction. That center becomes center of inspiration for us. First 3 years, we start bringing some customers there, internal people there. We had a lot of people coming from lateral corporates. Some of them believed into it, some of them didn't believe into it. For them, it was a marketing tool for bringing a customer to showcase design center is a beautiful object. Because it's a space where you can market to the customer that we are a great company, we think about design thinking, so it's a selling tool for us rather than a tool which is imbibed in our thinking culture. I would say between 2013 to 2018, only some 200 people were converted to a new way of thinking. Not the entire organization. 5 years, the real thinkers was only 200. But 200 is a sufficient size because 200 people, when they convert into tribes, so company has a set of tribes. But you need a tribe leader who is design thinker. It's not necessary everybody should be design thinker. It's a tribe which makes a difference to them. Then we come to the framework thinking, and then we come to, after 2018, then we say, let's put framework thinking, and then we put first principle thinking. I'll just explain the difference on all three. Design brings science to the chaos and complexity. So where does every transformation journey begins? It begins with the mind. Dawn has specifically highlighted Jolton specified as chairman statement of purpose. That's it. That's not actual thing, but it's there in the mind where the journey begins. When concentra you took a call, it's in the mind first. Rest is a execution. The role of a CEO or leader is to take that first step. Design thinking is divided into 3 spaces. Organizing the thinking space. So first part of the culture is organizing the thinking space of the organization. So the way we have individual thinking space, what is the organization thinking space? We must have seen this slide umpteen times from IDEO. Customer desirability, technology feasibility, and business viability creates a design thinking. There is a second slide by Roger Martin, which says if you move from mystery to heuristics to algorithm, and when you reach the algorithm, you have simplified everything, and that's a design thinking. So there are 2 schools of thought. Roger Martin comes from Eastern Coast, and IDEO comes from the West Coast. This is our observation of design thinking at intellect level. We'll say design thinking is about understanding the requirements stated and unstated, observing patterns and anti-patterns, connecting the dot within the organization and with the customer outside the box, and unearthing the blind spot, don't know what I don't know. This is the biggest value for discovery for the institutions to say what I don't know, what I don't know. So this session, what we are doing in Oxford from last 10 years is basically to discover what we don't know. It's as much valuable for you as much valuable for us to get a feedback from you what we don't know. There are 3 laws of design thinking. Less is more. We need to pick up few initiatives. Apple produced only 5 products with $300 billion revenue. IBM produced 200 products for $100 billion revenue. Last 2% is 200%. 98% products are similar. Difference between 5-star hotel and 7-star hotel is 3 times, with just last 1% difference of the service. Apple phone is 3 times the cost of other phones, of Chinese phone. Just it's more secure. The feature of a Chinese phone may be superior to Apple phone. The cameras may be superior to iPhone camera, but still we choose to be iPhone. So last 2% makes 200%. So any product of the bank of last 2% can generate significant revenue. Success of Revolut is the outcome of that last 2%. Focus on that last 2% of the customer first and operation first. Because it's a digital operation, they have simplified the operation first. And theory of prioritization is not ABC, it's exponential. The decision, what you're choosing, has a power of 1,000 gram, 100 gram, and 10 gram. A lot of time we get lost in working on 10 gram item or 20 gram items when the transformation is happening, when the change request Don was mentioning. There are many items in those change requests will be 10 gram items. But a particular department person will get stuck on it that without this I cannot run. And there are hundreds of people who are putting 10 gram item, no transformation will be succeeded unless somebody takes a decision. There's a full lecture on it, but I'll just to summarize, for any design team to be created, people talk about skill, expertise, perspective, idea, and alignment, the left side of it. These 5 things are where we bring the talent. When we talk about talent, we talk about talent that he has expertise and he has the right perspective, and we generate the ideas. In transformation, the biggest challenge is 5 frictional forces: doubt, conflict, anger, fear, ego. These are the element which we never open up in any meetings in talent design. These are the taboo words. We know it, but we don't want to acknowledge it. Doubt of going to next step. What is conflict? Simple definition of conflict. What is conflict typically? Anybody wants to just try? What is conflict? Yeah, done. Disagreement, yeah. Disagreement on what? On opinion? Yeah, point of view, basically opinion or perspective or expectation. Pardon? Difference, yeah. Perspective may be difference, or opinion may be difference, or expectations may be different. There are only 3 sources of conflict. Can there be any 4th source of conflict? Political reason can be, I'm just keeping outside that scope because I'm assuming the team is without political, and so that's why I don't want to look at it. But opinion, expectation, and perspective are the 3 levers of creativity. The input source of creativity is also difference of opinion, difference of expectation, difference of perspective. That's a key source. It means conflict and creativity are 2 sides of the same coin. If I want to suppress conflict, I'm suppressing creativity. What happens in corporate world, in transformation projects? Our listening goes down, anxiety goes up. Where the conflict is coming, which could be positively used, I'm calling frictional force, not a impediments. Carefully I chosen the word frictional force because friction can be leveraged positively or negatively. I'm standing on this floor because friction is there. Otherwise I'll slip out of it. The friction is always, how do you use it? Fastest car is governed by the best brakes they have. Is not by the best engine you have. You can put any engine in the fastest moving car. Your disappointments, when the transformation is happening, disappointment is happening, anger indexes are higher. How do you manage your anger quotient? Fear quotient of the, so now there is a fear quotient of core transformation because few transformation in Europe failed. Every Europe is saying, if I touch core banking transformation, it will be on my dead body. I'm scared then being contributing positively. Ego is anyway, till the time bank is making good profit, for that CEO is not important. And he knows his life cycle is 3 years to 5 years. Why should he make? So we have observed that core transformation initiatives are taken when it's driven by the founder-driven companies. Founder-driven banks are more acceptable for making a transformation in last 15 years of life when it's driven from somebody who is secure leader, who is not bothered about whether his job is important, his purpose is important. They have taken those decisions. The third 3 capacity levers is vulnerability, appreciation, and limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs is one thing which is causing the significant damage because somebody else has failed. Nordia Bank has failed or somebody else. HSBC, when they're putting Thought Machine, they failed. They selected Thought Machine and then after 2 years of initiative, they failed. It creates a negative vibes, not for HSBC to touch core banking transformation in the next 10 years because once they failed, now they will not touch it. No executive will ever have a guts to touch HSBC. Now it's not HSBC will do. 10 banks around HSBC also will not touch core banking transformation because Thought Machine was a new company and they didn't have the functionality and they sold the technology without understanding that banking is more complex than the technology alone. They simplified the banking, that's just a transaction. It's not a transaction. Banking is a regulated industry, huge amount of operational processes, which Silicon Valley never understood that how that complexity can be there in banking system. And that's created limiting beliefs. So industry going through the limiting belief zone right now. In spite of their 3 times cost, they are going through the limiting belief of that we should not touch transformational. This is our design center. Just a few pictures of it. From design thinking, let me move to the next is framework thinking. So once you have design thinking and you have pattern, anti-pattern, we call it convert into frameworks. So when you have a framework and you have a catalog of the framework and you have latitude and longitude of the knowledge, then you can retrieve lat long. So the way Google, we can map from point A to point B. When you are in new city, you can still go to the second place because you have a lat long of the new place. Similarly, enterprise knowledge, which is a critical part of it, has to be numbered. And when you have to catalog, you need to create a framework first, because only in the framework then you can catalog the knowledge. So there is a black book on the table where we have cataloged entire banking system in a single page. Why single page? Because human mind is a picture mind. Human mind is not a shifting mind. Human mind only says picture. So if the picture is only one picture, this is a one chart on full banking chart on it. All the products, there are 150 products are mentioned on this particular chart. But it's a single chart. But if you have to go next level chart, you go to, we call it level, this is a level 0 chart. We go to one basement, which is level 1 chart. So this is a core banking chart. But each one has a number, G1, G2, G3, it's a catalog. So we have zip coded the knowledge where every microservice, every API, every event has been zip coded to 5-digit zip code or a 6-digit zip code. That was important for us to have all the research engineers which are working, how to collaborate in absence of a zip coding. Neither customer can understand what he needs. When Zoltan is saying he is doing the transformation in 18 months at the first time, October maybe. So it's because we have a same diagram to see what is the lat long of each other. In absence of a lat long, company speaks something else, customer speaks something else, and that's where the disharmony happens and transformation fails. It helps, framework thinking helps in expanding the performance space. First is organizing the performance space, organizing the thinking space. Second point is expanding the performance space. Now there is science for doing it. There is a 5-step process which is, I'll take it through. First step is cartographic view. So what I'm saying lat long, it's a cartographic view of the problem you're solving. It's about understand the market intelligence landscape, understand the technology landscape, understand competition, understand the trends, and then develop the knowledge capture frames. This is step 1 for starting anything. So this is my knowledge capture frame. Now, once I put this frame, which is in a black book, I know this particular knowledge comes from wealth management area. Wealth management area is a G4 block. It's come from a front office of wealth. It's G4.1. It's coming from back office of wealth. It's G4.4. We can have the ability to catalog the knowledge. This is the payment details of. So this framework is expanding the performance space because performance of the enterprise is not individual performance, but a performance of the team. And I don't even call teams, I'm calling tribes are there. For creative organization, it's the tribes which work together. So we can have types of framework, we'll come to that. Out of the framework, whenever you're making a transformation, then you spot what is the right opportunity in the frame, which framework you want to address at a time. You don't have to address all the frame all the time simultaneously. Then you choose that if the 10 elements are there, G1, G2, G3, G4, I need to address G4 first, or I need to address G2.1 first. For this, you need to understand the feeling, unstated, unfulfilled desire of the customer as a first step, because to identify customer first banking, I need to understand unfulfilled desire of the customer as a first step. Intently observe natural pattern of human use of technology. You need to understand how the human use the technology. If I'm using a farmer, how does he use the technology versus urban executive? There'll be a different pattern of the designs based on the pattern of the usage of technology. Listen to what is not said. Conduct no agenda meeting. This is a very interesting topic. We are sitting in a Western world and I'm saying no agenda meeting. Have you heard the concept of no agenda meeting? If somebody invites you for a 2-day meeting and says, will not publish the agenda, there's no agenda. When you publish the agenda, whose agenda it is? When anybody publishes the agenda, whose agenda it is? CEO agenda? Does CEO knows all the agenda? Or CEO has a perception of he knows it? A lot of times CEO is he believes that he knows the agenda. Now in that process, if we are calling 20 people for a meeting for 3 days, and agenda is prefixed, everybody will respond and react to that agenda which is got published. Something which is not, we lose out any opportunity of listening to the market. What is most important working over there? So we conduct at Intellect, most of my meetings are no agenda meetings. I never published the agenda before. We have a 300 people conference in last April. No agenda was published. All the international people came to Intellect headquarters, 300 senior executive, very uncomfortable. Why we are going there? There's no agenda. Why being called there? What do I prepare? Good one. So, when the agenda is defined, we know all the executive can define the presentation slides. It's so simple for everybody to align what the agenda is published and telling them with the collar up that we are best in the world. We are paid for that. Now we have grown in the organization to design the slides and make the good presentations. So making a presentation is not a rocket science for anybody who crossed the vice president ladder in the company. He must have the art of making presentation. So published agenda will always get you the best presentation. We do a circle time before the event starts, in which we ask a simple 2 question. Share what creates a joy in you in last 3 months. I'm not saying the best product or something. What is the moment of joy for you in last 3 months? It could be meeting a customer, it could be designing something, it could be creating something. Or what is a moment of frustration for you? At emotional, both the questions are emotional questions. It's not about what achievements you have done. Otherwise, the person will say, I signed a deal of $2 million on this month, I did this. So this I quotient becomes the core quotient, not the what he likes to design. Then what is going well in the company, obviously if 40 people speak, 50 people speak, you will have a patterns coming in. There will be certain patterns that we are doing well and certain patterns we are not doing well. So we'll get a pattern and anti-pattern of design thinking, which we mentioned there. We will observe that. Next 3 days, we should spend 30% time in what we are doing well so that we can amplify it. And 66% time, 2/3 time should be spent on what we are not doing it. What we are not doing it is got discovered during this session. And when we have senior people there, they have all the knowledge available. They don't need a PPT, prepare PPT. They can always respond to what kind of ideas can be there in designing it. That is the second step of how you understand the right big opportunity. Big opportunity can only come from a circle times and a no agenda meeting. Agenda meetings are important. When business plan meetings are there, board meetings are there, those are agenda set meeting. Those cannot be no agenda meeting. But if I have a mix of agenda and no agenda meeting, I can understand and listen to the market. But Don was also mentioning that listening to the market, competition. Once that is there, then I create a universe of possibilities. Once I know the problem, I have smart people. All of us are smart. Every organization has a smart people. I don't differentiate the talent that company A has a better talent and company B has a better talent. It's about their hearts are there or not. If somebody has worked 20 years in an industry, he will be good. He survived 20 years of his life. Then he has to be good. So if they apply mind, it's a universe of possibilities. Universe of possibilities is again in this group, multiple expertise and multiple perspective to generate ideas. So this is idea generation phase. Challenge all existing assumption and bias. We need to challenge all existing assumption and biases, pick positive pattern that work within and outside, study anti-pattern that fails in real life situations, collect best practices, ideas, which is step 3. Then to make choices. This is another big thing. When you generate ideas and create the group creativity, then you need to align that they come to alignment quickly. And then we need to do some affinity clusters, weight the idea based on 10 gram, 100 gram, 1000 gram, classify idea into quick, bold, and long lasting. So each idea, don't drop the idea. There may be some idea when you are working on it. It could be long lasting idea, but you don't have a time to attend to it. Or some bold idea, we don't have time to attend to it. Take a quick idea, then park it. The other ideas, don't lose that manthan, that brainstorming for that idea. You have to make choices. This is a time to make choices by some leaders. That's the role of a leadership team comes in. They could be hard choices. We have delete 80% of the ideas. Sometimes two things cannot work simultaneously. Polaris and intellect cannot work simultaneously. I have to make a decision that I need to let go. We let the company which is making 2 billion rupee profit, we start losing 2 billion rupees for next 5 years. I never went to bank for loan after I went public after 1999. After 2016, I have to rebuild those bridges with the banks that I had given a deposit to you for the last 15 years. Now give me loan. So I raised the capital in this area. But those are the decisions. There's a hard decision. All the decisions are not medium decisions. You have to take a specific decision on transformation certainty. You need to make those decisions. Once you have chosen it, then you go to the implementation. That's much easier for execution. Don has suggested, Jolton has suggested, some more experts will suggest you how to execute it. I'm not getting into this. But I need to create a story for culture building. Very, very important point Don has brought in, that culture is a set of stories. Culture is not a set of processes. I need to weave in a story. So purpose and vision, if it is not translated into story, it is looking very similar. Because now every bank will say, I want to be customer first. Every bank will say, I need to be best cost to income ratio. They cannot be different agendas. Only stories make a bank different. And how to design a story is as complex a project for building a culture, and what stories on the corridors which is there, which is not even written down anywhere, are the most important story to build the culture. So this is a 5-step process: cartographic, spotting the big opportunity, universe of possibilities, making choices, and design a story. From here, you design the business design map. From that same process can use for designing a business design map. You can design operations first map. You can do credit risk design map. You can convert into compliance and regulation design map. You can use technology design map. You can convert that into 5 design maps for the bank transformation. So the transformation can become on experience, operation, and enterprise. And these design maps, I suggest, should be on a single page. I'm a strong proponent of using old architectural diagrams, which is A0 sheets. When architect used to come to your office, he used to bring a blueprints. He used to have a rod where he opened the rod and put on the table a large blueprint. We are so habitual of watching laptops, and we want to see design on laptops. How can it be 15-inch screen, you want to look at it, which will do the transformation, You don't have a time to get a A0 sheet and put all the data stack, tech stack into a one diagram on big chart, and that's what we do it in most of the places like this chart on Blackbook, which is to A3 size. We make it to A0 size when we look at internally. The big screens, big printers are important for us to understand the broken windows between the various connections in a transformation journey. These are the design maps which we talk about. Some of the framework. So this is the one framework of strategy to execution framework. The 5 design maps are required for strategy to execution. Second framework, which I talk about framework thinking, it's about, if I look at cost of code transformation, we look at it left side of it. My license cost, my implementation cost, my bank internal cost, change management, design for adoption, cloud cost. This is my 6 costs, which typically when I submit the RFP, my conversation goes there. How many times conversation happens on what is the bank cost post implementation? Is my technology which I'm choosing, what will be the run the bank cost? Will it be $2 per account, $5 per account, $10 per account, $100 per account? Today, European banks spend $100 per account per year. Indian banks spend $10 per account per year. They are more profitable because they spend only $10 per account per year because of newer technology. It's a $1 per month. Many banks in India are operating under $1 per account per month. That's based on the technology design. The way technology is designed to process transaction at 80 milliseconds. We have running the Central Bank of India, RBI, in 12 years, 2011, they given a contract to us. We built the technology for Reserve Bank of India. All the UPI transaction, which is today we celebrate in India, goes to our technology peacefully. The EOD is half an hour. All the 300 million transactions which process every day on that system on core banking get processed in half an hour. They are operating on 60 core server. RBI is operating on 60 core server. Today when we talk to AWS, they will give you 500 core server, 1000 core servers to run the core banking. Because when you design with the first principle thinking, you are taking care of all those elements. My run the cost is subscription, my infrastructure cost, my online performance, my EOD performance, my new capability building cost, expanding association. This second frame and first frame, both has to be seen side by side. Or other framework could be, what is my new digitalization explicit benefit and what is my tacit benefit? So a lot of time I have an explicit benefit being talked about, but not the tacit benefit which comes with me. How much time does it take to launch a new product on the technology? What is the time to deploy a change? What is the time to comply a regulation when the regulation comes in? These are all tacit changes, tacit benefits of change. There could be other framework called value proposition frame. When you are going to customer, what is the value proposition we are making to customer first? On the left side is about what are the gain creators, pain creators, delivers, and products and services. And from customer segment, what gain customer is going to get, what pain are you removing, and what customer jobs are you removing. So this is a value proposition design. There's a book on value proposition. Then you put this value proposition to business model canvas, which is another book on business model canvas, the 9 things which is required in business model canvas. What segment are you addressing your core banking transformation? What customer relationships you want to have? What channels you want to reach? What value proposition you're going to go for each segment? What is the key activity you'll be performing? What is the key resources are there? What is the key partners are there? What is my revenue structure? What is my cost structure? Should be on one sheet. The point is, all of it we calculate, but they are sitting in a different sheets. They are not getting connected. So framework makes the connections possible. This is the community development framework. In 2016, I set up a foundation after selling Polaris. I got some cash. I created a Polaris Foundation. And the purpose of the foundation is to help rural India for development. Now, the rural India I never understood. It took me 3 years to understand what the role India works. India is a complex country of European Union. It's not a one country. It's called one country, but every state and every village is different. We convert entire knowledge of I did design thinking workshop with close to 200 NGOs in each sector, agriculture, in education, in healthcare. Each session was learning for me. I was facilitator, but I was learning. And that is where we learned for change, bringing a change, I need to look at personal development and capacity building as a first step. Then we do social development. Then we come to economic development. If you start doing economic development without first two-step process, my soil is not ready for change. I have to moisture the soil and I need to fertilize the soil. So this is the first is I'm moisturizing the soil. In second step, I'm with education and healthcare, I'm giving a fertilizer to soil. Then only economic development can happen. A lot of government initiatives are there, which is focus on D3, not focus on D1, D2. Then only you can talk about ecological sustainability. We talk about ecological sustainability without the economic development. And then you do the institutional development, that how do they make the decision in local governance. So this framework is working in more than 500 villages in India, in 10 different states. We are getting huge learning. We have 140 indicators, 1400 scorecard. When the village goes to development, how the scorecard move from 600 points to 700 points to 900 points to 1000 points is broken down to the micro level of the detailing, which is L3 detailing, which is a framework thinking, part of framework thinking. From there, we come to the first principle thinking. I'm exceeding time, Mithu, just 15 minutes. If you want to stop me, another 20 minutes it will take. On first principle thinking, what is first principle thinking? Asking why. Why bank exists? What is the purpose of banking? Bank exists because of making profit? Or bank exists to provide some services to the customer for which you make some margin because you are providing some service. Now, if I look at first principle thinking, when the customer needs a service when there is a financial event happen in his life. Otherwise, I don't go to bank every day. I go to bank only on those days when I need some financial event happen in my life. And that financial event, if I capture it as a service to service that event, and I package into technology, it becomes microservice. So for creating a business outcome, sustainable business outcome, I need to capture the event with the right service. Those things need to be connected. So for that, I need an architecture, independence, resilience, scale, simplicity. I need events, microservices, API, cloud, headless. I need a composability, product design, experience design, operations design, integration design. I need volume, velocity, value, variety, veracity. I need embedded AI as an integral part of my design, which is unstructured, semi-structured data, classification, extraction, validation, transformation, augmentation, reasoning. It should be the part of, these are my design pattern for the first principle thinking. For this, we look at it events, microservices, APIs, secure cloud infrastructure, because I need and this is the delight to the customer is when I take operation first, the cloud plays a very critical role. Why cloud plays a critical role? When we were in computer science classes in 40 years back, we always learned event-driven architecture. When we were in jobs, we never implemented event-driven architecture. We have a synchronous architecture. Only cloud provides me the ability to handle the events the way I want to do it. So I can do a asynchronous design, then a synchronous design. So my product designs are product-first architectures are synchronous designs where dependencies are there. So I cannot separate the dependency. In event-driven architecture, I can separate the dependency. So when I'm designing a operation-first design, which Prasanna will talk tomorrow, where we have we've broken down operations into activities or a desk, and each, in technology world we call state, in operation world we call it desk. If file move from desk A to desk B to desk C, or technology wise move to state A to state B to state C. Now each state transition can happen from three things. Either the state transition from moving a file from desk A to desk B to desk C can happen by the human agent, or it can happen by the rule-based agent, which could be RPA, which could be any of the rule-based agent. Third thing could be digital agent, which can move the file. Digital agent is the advantage of digital agent is it will be goal-based, not a rule-based. Most of the digital agent, what Deepak will talk about how you build the AI platform, which is a goal-based decision making. So that provides a capability of operation first. So this cloud infrastructure, which is fourth part of it, and if you just acronym each one of it, is become emac.ai. E for event, M for microservices, A for APIs, C for cloud, and H for headless. Headless means customer first. I need to design, head I will put customer there, and AI will be embedded into it. So these are 6 principles. We simplified our whole purpose and existence into 6 alphabets. That's all we are at Intellect. If you go into complex task, it could be, I'll not take too much time on it. I'll take it sometime later, but this is where all the pieces comes together to create a full architecture, not the architecture which was crisscross. This architecture is the layered architecture where each piece is sitting in the right place. There is a blue fabric and there is a green fabric. Green fabric is what customer first. This blue fabric is where operation first comes in. First principle thinking in business impact AI. When we are applying AI, the first question we need to ask, what is artificial intelligence? It means I can only understand artificial intelligence if I understand human intelligence. Because what I'm trying to do it is but when we look at artificial intelligence without a human intelligence, so first question we ask ourselves, what is human intelligence? Which we are trying to make digital twin out of it. So if I look at it, human intelligence, when I looked at the Oxford Dictionary, it says intelligence means applying knowledge to solve problem. Simple definition, intelligence is applying knowledge to solve problem. It means your intelligence, centerpiece of the intelligence is knowledge. How to apply the problem? My expertise will make my problem solving. So I may have a multiple skill 1, skill 2, skill 3, skill 4. Based on that, I build up expertise, which is one dimension of talent of human intelligence. And most of the time, my HR department works on this S1 to S4. They don't work on other talent, which Don and Jolton was trying to highlight on transformation certainty, the people, which is a perspective of them. Perspective of the people is about intent and purpose, imagination, empathy, experiences, and knowledge. These 5 things constitute a perspective of the team. It means when I'm translating this into my agentic system, I need to take care of these perspectives. Whether it's a sales perspective, or is it a ops perspective, or it's a compliance perspective. Then I need a third thing, which is the traits. Trait of a person, behavior traits. It's a 3-dimensional problem. Courage, curiosity, reasoning, judiciousness, decision making is the 3rd dimension of it. That constitutes my human intelligence. Now when I'm merging human intelligence, human expert with digital expert, I need to take this as a first principle map before we jump to AI map. When we translate this into AI, this is the objective we want to reimagine. Reimagine enterprise with business impact AI. So the word is reimagine, and reimagine happens with a design thinking, framework thinking, and first principle thinking. And then you are reimagine customer, you are reimagine products, you are reimagine operations, and reimagine compliance. we convert that into 4 tech stacks. Very, very interesting. So first, if knowledge is the pivot of intelligence, then knowledge has to be curated. Most of the banks are data rich, knowledge poor. There is an enterprise knowledge garden will be as equal is a prerequisite for running any enterprise AI platform. You need an enterprise knowledge garden. There could be product knowledge garden, process knowledge garden, customer knowledge garden, talent knowledge garden is a prerequisite because the quality of the input knowledge will convert into the intelligence. There are 4 stages of data to information, information to knowledge, and knowledge to intelligence. So I need to convert my explicit knowledge, implicit knowledge, and tacit knowledge into a usable knowledge. And that comes from a first tech stack, which is around enterprise knowledge garden. Agents are my skill workers, but to create a business impact AI, I need a digital expert. Digital expert is a combination of a team which will complete the full task. A lot of people, we build up an application lifecycle AI, not a data lifecycle AI. The Googles of the world and Microsoft of the world, they know how to manage the data. They are not managing the enterprise systems of banking and financial system, which are much more complex than what they have ever experienced, because their teams have never experienced the complexity of banking. We are in 42 years in banking. We understand what the issues are. And digital expert will show that how can you create a digital expert. Third is enterprise governance, how the entitlements, traceability, ethical. Fourth element is very interesting. LLM is my source of knowledge. Are all the LLMs similar? How many LLMs exist in the world? Anybody knows? Hugging Face shows 1.7 million LLMs. We know only 10. Because they are advertised well. Now for each domain I have a LLM. Even if I take a quality LLM, I have a 200 LLMs. A lot of banks are making error of signing up OpenAI or signing up with one of them. And they're signing the platform into one, wedded to one LLM. Acha to acha, it's good, it's good. If it's not good, not good. Now you can't do any change. We did the testing of LLMs on 3 parameters: cost, accuracy, and speed. And do the benchmarking. And we created one digital expert with 22 agents. We first use only one LLM for 22 agents. My accuracy was coming to be 87%. To improve the efficiency, I start testing it out, which LLM will give, which task it will give better. I could improve to 94% accuracy because I chosen for a particular task. So for that task of complaint resolution system, I am using 6 LLM within one digital expert. So my system should be able to pick up, and I brought down the cost since we launched the software in September last year to now by almost 60% reduction in cost, because monthly I look at it, my cost of LLM is coming down month on month. On one side, my efficiency of the LLMs is going up, and I'm choosing lower cost LLMs rather than choosing higher cost LLMs. So this LLM optimization hub is a 4th tech stack which is there in a purple fabric. And this can be used as a AI as an API. So you make a digital expert and use it into your existing legacy application as the API. So we are moving from data as a service, knowledge as a service, to make an experience as a service. This is a banking landscape on which we are putting it. That this is the banking landscape, the framework of this. We need AI in these 13 spaces. What is the customer side? Second is the employee side. These are the operations, 6 operations shops in the bank, product design, risk, technology. These are the 13 spaces which we apply digital experts on it. These are the kind of digital experts. So it's not an infinite number. Some of the bankers are saying, I want to create 100,000 agents to create a Microsoft wealthy. Because if you create 100,000 agents, you will create LLMs to make Microsoft healthy, not bank healthy. So you need to see less is more. You need only 5 experts in credit origination. You need only 6 experts in a trade operations. Now, if you refine them continuously, each time it will become better and better. In summary, design thinking, it's a culture. Framework thinking is aligned organization. By the framework, we can align the organization. First principle thinking forces you to asking why. Journey from complexity to transformation certainty. Customer first to operation first. Customer first and operation first. There are few reference books I have put it over there, which you can just look at them if you want to look at it. It's a journey only. The design thinking is not just a one training session. And we have a school of design thinking which can help the customer to work together when the transformation is there. So we recommend, and I took multiple sessions with OTP, their team, and understanding it. When they come to Chennai, we take them to the center. So it's a not just what is explicit, implicit is important, and tacit is important for any transformation certainty. This is where our work is happening. Thank you. Any questions? Well, I know time is short.
What happens at a no agenda meeting when you first have it?
People just look at each other and
No, not. We are doing it from last 15 years. We no agenda meetings, and when we are defining, we used to have a session called Lakshya. Since the technology company for 42 years, we are surviving and still cutting edge. And I was talking to Andrew Brigg on why Oxford is surviving. Because technology life cycle of technology companies are not more than 10 years, 15 years. 42 years, it means organization is reinventing itself. So in Lakshya, we have 100 people with no agenda meeting for 3 days. And this meeting goes for at least 12 hours a day. For 36 hours, we spend time for defining once in 3 years. Initially, we used to do once in every year. Now we used to do once in 3 years. So culture was set up earlier, and it has been making the design thinking right.
Just one quick question that you've applied this whole design lens to technology, right? But you could apply it to any, industry and to financial services. Like you could apply it to reinventing the bank itself.
That's right. We encourage the bank should follow this design thinking method for transformation, and that's what OTP is using that also for transforming bank. When we are using the design thinking for rural development. I give an example of rural development.
Yeah.
So I'm using design lens for changing the rural India.
Yeah, one quick question. So I think what you presented earlier was there was one slide on the various levers. I mean, on personal, social, economic, environmental, etc.
Yeah.
So practically that would really cover your SDGs and ESGs.
That's right. That's what we are looking at it. But we never started from SDG perspective. We started from rural development, empathy.
Have you taken this design thinking conversation to the regulators also?
Yeah, we are.
What has been their reaction?
Regulators are regulators, so they are similar. So I don't think they have a very high responsiveness to it. But I'm implementing it first year of engineering college. We are signed up with 50 engineering college where we have taken design thinking as a course. We trained more than 500 faculty in last 10 years on design thinking. I have a book called Unmukt book, How Do You Think Boundaryless? And that is a curriculum course in those colleges. In IIM Calcutta, which is one of the premier management course, they adopted design thinking. And I start this program at 9th standard student. Changing the design, the thinking when person becomes 13-year-old, when he enters into teenage. I'm putting the seed of design thinking, of designing imagination and dream at that point of time. So I have 2 social organizations. One is called Ullas Trust and second called Mission Samriddhi. They work from 9th standard to management graduate. many corporates are working, but corporate has a very difficult unlearning curve. Students have a better learning curve. Okay.
I think there's one last question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, thank you very much for the brilliant presentation and content. What would be the optimum duration of a journey, transformation journey, that you would see that will not disrupt by another technology advancement? So meanwhile, we are doing a transformation, and by the time we complete it, so there is another technology disruption forcing us to do another. So what would be the best practice?
Ideally, it should be first phase of seeing the sunlight should be within 12 months to 15 months. People don't have patience to go beyond 15 months to see the first ray of light. If they see the ray of light, they build the confidence on it. And then we can have a 3 or 4 sprints of 6 months each. So typically 3 months period, 15 months is the first period because you need to build the whole system. Then every 6 months, you can have a 3 more sprints or 2 more sprints depending upon size of the organization and complexity of the change which you want to bring. But if you're making it 2 years, people get fatigued.
Okay, thank you, Arun. Thank you so much. And let's give Arun a big round of applause.